Random person teaches her son it's okay to cut people in line, by user X account. This one is a super short story, and uneventful, but I'm still pissed off about it. Yesterday, I, 19M, went to a Christmas light show that had realistic dinosaur animatronics, and was overall dinosaur themed. It was obviously super popular with the kids, and had a ton of props to take pictures with. There was one I was super excited about. It was a T-Rex head you could sit in to make it look like you were being eaten. Right as I was about to enter it, a mom, shoved in front of me and set her kid down. She glared at me when I explained I was supposed to be next, and there was literally one person in line behind me and it would be no more than a 1-minute wait. She absolutely went off on me about how I'm a grown adult and shouldn't be worried about taking pictures and how he's a kid and therefore should go first. I wish I had said something or stopped her, but I'm autistic and not good with confrontation. I did get my picture after a bit, but it kind of ruined my mood for the rest of the day. I wish parents wouldn't teach their young kids it's okay to act a certain way just because they are a certain age. My mom stalks my location and questions where I'm at/who I'm with constantly, by user bloomingflower777. I, 24F, still live with my parents. I still financially depend on them in the sense I cannot afford my own rent, so I stay here for free. Years ago I added my family on Find My Friends because I didn't see the big deal. I really don't care about my friends/family having my location. But my mom in particular always interrogates me on where I am and who I'm with if she doesn't recognize the location. As I'm dating, this becomes very uncomfortable as I don't feel the need to explain myself, nor do I want to share every life detail with my parent. This irritates me and we have argued it many a times. In the past I made the mistake of telling her I was seeing someone and was with them. When I went to his house she spam called me and told me that she thought it was too early on for me to be at his house and that I should not get intimate with him in any way. I got upset, feeling invaded on my privacy, and also was so embarrassed, hoping the person didn't hear the phone call. I was in the other room but still. So now I avoid telling her these things and lie that I am at a friend's or out with a friend. I've been seeing someone for a couple months now and have been at their house more often. I just tell her I'm at a friend's and now she has accused me of lying. When I've taken off the location in the past, she throws a fit and says that she's my mom and she's worried about me, and that I should be glad that she cares. I don't feel this way. I'm just frustrated and feel I'm at the age now that I don't need to disclose everything. Just wanted insight, thank you. Am I an entitled parent? By user Hellaskunky. I have a 22yo son who moved out of my house almost a year ago. I love him so much and he is my world. His father and I split when he was younger and it was rough for a while we figured out how to co-parent. It took about 3 years for us to get into a space where we could be considered friends and our relationship was better than it ever was after we got through all the mutual hurt we had caused each other. I always tried not to speak ill of his father or to bring up any wrong I thought he had done to me. I tried very hard to keep my son separate from any issues I had with his father. It's what his dad did at his house, but I would hope he did the same. My son went to a private school paid for by his dad and I tried to keep up with the latest and greatest for him since his dad married and had several stepchildren he also took responsibility for. My son was my only, so I got him all the things his dad couldn't get for several children. I also tried to make sure my son had quality time with his father's parents even if it meant they got to take him on my time. I tried as hard as I could to be kind and loving and understanding and all that. I'm only human and this was my first time being a parent. My son moved out last year after I helped him get his dream car. Which I think he's figured out that I might have been right at the dealership when I told him he needed to take into consideration the cost of ownership as well as the monthly payments. He is doing well for himself. Stable job, continuing education to promote, great girlfriend. The thing is he doesn't call, he barely texts, and never tells me he loves me. He didn't call for Thanksgiving or respond to my message. Usually the only thing I get from him is a text when he sends the cash for his part of the car insurance. I made it clear when he got the car that I could not afford the insurance for his car with how young we was/ and the type of car he got. Most months it's the agreed upon amount, but sometimes it's way less. No big deal. I'll split the difference. Here's where I start to wonder if I'm an entitled parent. Recently I've been feeling taken for granted or just outright ignored. I miss my kid. I have asked if there was anything I could do to improve our relationship and no reply. I've told him about extended time off from work and asked if he wanted to hang out or something with no response or acknowledgement. Would I be wrong/entitled if I told him that if he doesn't want a relationship with me that he should find and pay for his own insurance? I'm saving him about $200 a month by having him on mine, and I'm spending a crap ton extra by having him on my insurance when he doesn't have to be. I feel like if I can't get an "I love you" occasionally or a response to "what to have dinner" once in a while, then he shouldn't expect me to take on the added insurance for his car. Also, can anyone tell me if this is normal for male children to do this, and will he ever come back home? Or is it always going to be transactional? He has no issues going on vacations or camping trips I plan out of state. Or am I a jackass for thinking if he wants to act all grown up and not need me, then he can be all the way grown and take care of his responsibilities by himself. Reddit won't let me edit and typos this morning, so please ignore the random wrong word or added word. Parents hate my boyfriend and make me feel terrible, by user Marby2000. My boyfriend, 24M, and I, 24F, have been dating for almost a year now. I am extremely happy with him and he treats me so well. It's been an absolute dream being with him. He's the perfect man and I can't see my life without him. Our relationship has been amazing, smiley face. A few weeks into us talking, I had a feeling we would be official, so I told my parents about him and also told them he has a son, 3M. They were initially stumped and told me they aren't the biggest fans, but they were overall kind about it and said it's my life so I can choose. I listened to them and kept it in my mind, but I decided to continue our relationship. After they realized I wasn't ending things with him, they became much more cold and rude to me. They told me they don't understand why I told them if they were going to say they don't approve and I just decide to continue the relationship. They said they'll never give us their blessing to marry, they'll never have us at events together, that they're mourning the death of their relationship with their daughter, etc. They have also told me I'm straining their marriage. They've sacrificed so much for me to throw it in their face, and make rude comments calling me stepmommy in a condescending tone. Initially, I did try my best to have them meet and open a conversation for us to talk about it. I would be open and tell them where I'm going with him, if I'm staying at his place, or where I got my flowers from. He's gotten me flowers every month since we've been dating, hee. But eventually they told me they don't want to hear about it or see him. So I stopped telling them where I'm going completely. I spend much less time at home because of the tension, silent treatment, or rude behavior. It feels like a lose-lose telling them everything / trying to find a solution or just leaving them alone. I live with them and I'm saving up to move out and be fully financially independent. They have already thrown finances in my face, mentioning how they pay my insurance and I live under their roof. Which I agree, so the best thing would to just move out and get rid of one argument they have at least. There is constant tension in the house with them, and whenever we seem okay it's because I just go straight to work and home. Every other month we seem to argue about all of this, but I've become tired. The arguments are full of harsh remarks and condescending comments about how I make stupid decisions, how I'm ruining the family and they'll never accept us and never attempt to. They've also said when our family doesn't like someone they'll outcast them, and that's just how it is. So it's my decision to date him or be part of the family. They then go on to list all the family members they avoid because they don't like them or their partner. My mom also mentions how her personal trauma from having divorced parents will not allow her to accept my relationship or be involved in my life. My parents have an us versus them mentality with the rest of my family and credit their trauma for it. When I have spoken up about how that may not be the healthiest thing and how it makes no sense to love me unconditionally then do the same to me, I'm just told that's the way our family works. I have tried many times to have a conversation and have been outspoken about how they don't talk to me to actually discuss things, rather they just yell at me. I've said I don't feel comfortable at home, considered, or seen as a person. All for it to lead to more yelling, scolding and bullying. At this point I know I haven't treated them the best recently because I have built so much resentment for them as well. And I'd rather not, but at the same time I can't try to be happy in the house knowing their kindness and love feels conditional. Any advice would be appreciated. I love my family dearly, but I want to stand my ground for someone I care about and for my own boundaries. I know they want what they think is best for me, but I can't justify this treatment. Mom hasn't acknowledged my engagement, by user Laziskin blogger. Cross-posted in r/toxic parents. My parents have always been very high conflict people. Bad marriage, terrible financial decisions, both are emotionally immature, and they always had people living in their house. It was really hard growing up in their household. I used to think my mom was the victim in her marriage, then I finally realized she has no backbone and is a major enabler. My dad is a narcissist, and they both don't have any accountability. I've been extremely low contact with them for about 2 months. I got engaged on Sunday. On Monday, I texted them both to let them know so they would hear it from me before posting pictures and before telling extended family members. My dad texted back after a few hours and it was a polite text. My mom did not text back. I figured sharing my IG post to FB, I never post on FB anymore, thinking it could be another way to give my mom a chance to acknowledge the engagement. She didn't interact with the post, my dad left a polite comment. I later spoke to my sister who is in contact with my mom, but supportive of my decision to be low contact, and she said my mom told her that she was hurt my fiancé didn't ask their permission or include them in the engagement. She also said my aunt called to congratulate her, implying I called and told my aunt first and she heard the news from my aunt. This is simply not true. I texted my parents first thing in the AM, waited hours before posting anything to make sure they saw the text, which I know they did because dad replied to my text, and texted my aunt around lunch. Last, she said she hadn't seen the FB post because I am not friends with her, also not true. I'm just really frustrated and hurt. I acknowledge and understand being low contact is probably painful to her and hurts her feelings. I understand the implications of what I am doing. But I did go out of my way to inform them so they would hear it from me. I strongly believe that merits a basic, polite acknowledgement regardless of her feelings. I didn't have to tell them. I know I don't get to eat my cake and have it too, but this is a major life event. A polite text would have shown me she's understanding why I'm low contact and on a path to healing, but it's clear she's not.